Conversations and Opinions. I'm Shae.
I'm Caronica.
I'm Tarvis.
And I'm Clorissa, and today we are discussing blended families.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great subject to talk about.
Yes,
it is.
We've talked about fatherhood before and how those families get blended up, but today we're going to talk about blended families like marriages and taking children that maybe you got from a brother or a sister or whatever. So let's open it up, y'all.
Yes.
There's a variety of type of blended families.
Yes.
Yes,
Multiple
yes.
type of blended families. I've been talking to people this week about blended families, and this is going to be interesting one. People are not going to agree.
Oh,
but
okay.
when I think of blended families, I have a friend who is married, and she has her own child, and her husband has his own kids. And we were just talking about, like, how should you start off with a blended family? Like, what mistakes are made when, becoming a new blended family? And I think the biggest one, in my opinion, is that when you date and you have, you're attached to someone else, like your child, or you have to date differently.
Yes.
So a lot of people date as if it's just you and the other person. So I think once you get to a certain step, you have to allow the other people to get to know each other. Even if it's other kids, if all the other kids get to know each other.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people come together and no one knows each other in the home. So everyone's uncomfortable. You don't know people's personalities, and it's like a disaster waiting to happen.
Yep.
So, I'm sorry. So my question is, we're talking about blended families. So that's the stage of marriage. Prior to that, what do you guys feel like the time frame should be when you introduce that individual to your children? Because that's where it starts. You know what I'm saying?
I think that timeline, it varies depending on like your living situation and things like that.
I agree.
I'm in a blended family now, and I didn't introduce my son to my husband until it was a year into the relationship.
Okay.
Over a year into the relationship. So it just depends on your level of comfort, because if your child lives with you full time, then it may happen sooner than later. My son does live with me full time, but I dated long distance, so I was able to stretch out that time. But I wouldn't want to meet anybody's children 2 weeks in. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that whatever this situation is a stable situation
Before we introduce
you
the
allow
children.
anybody else to come in.
Agreed.
So I think I don't really think it's a time frame. I think it's like when that we're moving to a different
level.
That's how I was thinking
like,
too.
Okay, now we need to introduce the kids and then let the kids get to know each other so that it's not awkward, because I think that's the biggest mistake people make is like, okay, that's your new daddy. This is your sibling. It's like, I don't even, and then you don't know the person's personality. So everything, when you're in a home together, that change. I have blended family. Like I have my dad remarried and my mom remarried.
Okay.
So I feel like I was very young when my dad remarried, but with my stepfather, he was trying to get to know us, and he didn't come in with like, you do this. He tried to become friends with us, like get to know our personalities. Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, you know me better than I know myself. Like, but I think that makes it a successful relationship when someone's trying to get to know each other, not trying to change rules. Like, I don't like the way your mama raised you, or I don't like the way your father raised you. Like, I'm trying to change rules. So I think you have to come in differently and get to know the person, and then not all the time, but the outcomes can be different.
And there are levels to it. Like you said, you have to first date the person, and then you introduce the kid to the person, and then you introduce the kid to the other kids. I mean, there are levels to it. And then if it gets even bigger, if it's more harmonious, your kid meets the other parent, and so on. So, yeah, there are definitely levels to it. And you have to be careful, because introducing your children too soon to somebody, it can be traumatic, or like you said, throwing the kids in with the other kids. My son was an only child for like a lot of years, for like into his teens. So me just showing up like, okay, here's your new brother and your sister. All right, he'd be like, what? No, I'm used to all of this being mine. I'm not sharing, or I don't want to. Yeah, so you just have to be careful.
Now, see, my blended family was kind of different. We found out about my older sister. She was like in her teens when we met her. But the difference was, it was my dad just said, your sister is coming here to summer, so y'all get to know her. And it was a smooth transition for us because she just spent the whole summers with us. And what was really strange to me was that my mom, and kudos to her, is like when she came, it was all about her. And we had to adjust because she's like, you guys are here with me all the time.
Right.
She's just here for the summer. So I think that was her process of getting to know my sister.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what
that
it
was
was.
her first time meeting her too? Okay, that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's
How
really
did you feel
beautiful.
about that, though, as being a child? And most kids who have that issue with when the parent is giving so much attention to the other child is like this, like,
Jealousy
civil
kind of
rivalry type
I
of situation.
ain't gonna lie. I was in my feelings a little bit, but as she started to continue to come each summer, we just became close. So she was like the big sister, because you guys know I have a big brother. So, you know, it's a difference, your relationship with your brother than your sister.
And I'm glad you just pointed that out, because I think a lot of times people feel like the blend only needs to work for the grown-ups.
Oh, no.
And the children literally have to just take whatever we roll out to them, and that's not fair.
That's not fair.
Oh
that's,
my God.
that's
For
why
years,
that's
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Generation after generation of parents meeting each other, having a relationship, and then all of a sudden, kids probably don't even know if y'all are even dating. All of a sudden, the father or the mother moves into the household and we're like, come on, y'all.
And new rules.
But what I will say, my dad did tell us, you know, your sister's coming, you're going to meet, and things are going to be a little different because she's... So we were aware. We just didn't like it. You know. But I'm glad my dad did that, because from my understanding, my dad actually asked her mother if he could have her, and so she could grow up with us instead of just coming, you know, for the summers. So that, I think, spoke a lot of volumes to how my dad and mom handled the situation, because my mom was on board with it. Her mom just wasn't willing to do that. But each summer that she came, it made our bond closer.
That's good.
With all of us, my brother and my younger sister.
And that's a blessing for your sister, because, I mean, especially when you're the odd man out, there are already 3 of them over there. I'm coming in here.
Yes.
Okay, do they like me? Will they like me? Are they talking about me? Am I comfortable here?
It's harder for the other person that's coming in, especially when it's a group of y'all versus
and we would stay up all night talking. So I think that was our process of getting to know each other. So I was like, oh, she might be all right. But at first I was like, ooh.
That's cute, because on the other hand,
what happens when the blend goes wrong?
Yeah, because the blend goes wrong. I know situations where parents don't like the kids. Kids don't like the parents, and they act out. And it's like you never can get it on the same page. And I'm just going to say this, is that it takes a mature person to be a part of a blended person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, you have to, the dating process is very important, because you have to be honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
If you are getting to know a child's father or mother, and you know that you just can't do this, you need to
don't waste anybody's time.
You really have to say it.
Don't waste anybody's time.
And there shouldn't be any hurt feelings if everybody's mature.
Right.
Because there are going to be times where the child that you have to blend with is raised completely differently by the other parent.
Right.
The parent that you're with may agree with some of your philosophies, or you know, kind of understand the way you raise your child, and they may not agree with everything, but they don't necessarily bash it. But when that kid goes home to their mom and they coming back, well, my mama said, or my daddy said, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to do this every single time I see you. Right? We're going to do this every time. My mom, I had spent a summer with you guys, and love my mama. And so just putting it out there, because it's not about her. But when I left for summer break. I had a room to myself, and that was that. I came back from summer break, and I had 3 stepbrothers immediately. Like, I didn't even know anything about the children. I didn't know my mom was dating the guy. I left for the summer, came home. I didn't have that bedroom anymore. I was like, Who are these 3 people? What's going on? And this is before cell phone, so it wasn't like you could call and be FaceTime.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, I was checking in once a week, or maybe not at all, because I was with y'all and y'all mama, so my mom knew I was all right. She wasn't,
checking.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh. So when the children get thrown into it, it's like, nah, I had an attitude. Like, I had a really bad attitude.
They took your room.
Okay, I'm 13. I'm the oldest. I have my own room. Now I have 3 guys that are in the room. Hey, what's your name? Okay. All right, cool. Wow. Where do I sleep now? What's the arrangement? Who are these people? What do we know about them? And I naturally came in apprehensive. And then the guy, I'm like, oh, he can't say nothing to me. I'm 13. So,
right.
So do you feel like when you're dating prior to getting married and you're dating someone with kids and then it gets to that next level, what is that conversation, or what does that look like? Does that conversation mean you, their kids, and then sit down and have this, okay, this is where we're going in our relationship. Now you guys need to understand where you guys fit in this equation.
Kinda, and I think also it can depend on the situation, because my ex-husband and I had a rule. When we were going to get serious with somebody, they had to be comfortable with the other person meeting their child. So for me, when my ex-husband got married, he took the time to actually say, okay, here's the young lady. I'm going to introduce her to James. Is that okay with you? And I'm like, okay, all right.
Oh, nice.
I like the way that felt. Same thing, so, I mean, yeah, you can do it that way. Or if the relationships aren't like that, I think getting the kids together and introducing the situation all at one time is really nice too.
Right.
To help all the kids feel like they're involved.
Yeah. It's just a
What
conversation.
You think, Shae?
So I've seen situations where when it came to the children's dynamic, especially when they're older, that it didn't turn out too well because you have a husband and his sons, you have a mother and her daughters, or whatever the situation is. They're older, they're coming together, and I've seen situations where the kids fell in love with each other, or you had situations where it was
awkward.
That's interesting,
because you gotta think about it, they're not related.
And
so they're in the same household.
I guess that went over my head because you said in love. I'm like loving the sibling.
No,
but you
my man now. You was my brother yesterday.
Wow.
But we 16.
Yeah, like because they're older, and like there's like different types of mental issues that people go through and not understanding, like. My parents married each other. Now we're actually brother and sister.
Yeah.
But they don't have that brother and sister type of relationship because they just came together out of the blue. And now it's like, oh, she fine. Oh, damn. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So like,
that's scary.
That's
very
scary. Think about it though.
I
read books like that. I knew of situations of people's in like
I believe
relationships that happen like that.
I'm sure it's happened.
Thanks, Mom. You introducing to my future husband.
Right.
Wow.
But that's why you have to let the kids get to know each other and let them understand, like, you can't just be coming home to new family.
Come home and they're like, oh.
But she said when they're older. So when you're older, if you're 16, y'all know I'm finna stir the pot.
Right.
Why can't they?
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, but oosh.
I mean, I guess it's,
you know what else? I get it. No, I'm just stirring the pot because I'm with you with the But think about it. They have no bloodline ties.
Dang. Somebody else gonna take the wheel on this one.
I mean,
but that's. I mean, I see stuff like that.
Because when she said it, I was like, okay, but think about it. There's no bloodline attachment, and they didn't ask Mama. Look how she's looking. Right. They didn't ask Mama to bring this person, and it's funny because the heart wants what the heart wants.
Girl, no,
hold on.
Right in the beginning.
You're attracted, but you're attracted to who you're attracted to. So they weren't, set up to say, "Oh, I'm gonna date you." It just happened.
Well, I don't want my stepbrothers.
No.
At all. Like, I don't look at them like that. Like, to me.
They're your
no,
brothers.
I know you don't, but I'm just, stirring a pot with what Shae
Don't
said.
stir that pot.
Don't stir the bloodline because we're gonna have a Woody Allen situation. We're gonna marry the child of your spouse.
Not the Woody Allen.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But it's a whole lot of situations like the husband liking the daughter.
Yes.
Baby.
I mean, I'm just saying, like these are the real life situations that nobody.
We'll
really
be back
talk
after
about.
this commercial break. That is terrifying. Ew.
Yeah, I think this is why people need to take their time, introduce the family, get to know each other, because
as a family, and not just bringing them together smack dab in the middle and like, okay, we're gonna get along.
But not only that, you really just need to know who you're dealing with.
That too.
Who you're dating.
Yeah.
You gotta check backgrounds. And it's a shame because we never did that before.
And then you see the taste that your current spouse has, because it's like, that's your baby mama. That's the lady you had the children with. Oh my goodness! Wow, that's a different character than I would have expected.
Right.
Or the same for the women.
Right.
That's the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. How and why? Okay, so what about when the blend doesn't go right, though? Anybody, let's throw out some tips, or not tips, because maybe we don't all have experience with it, but what's your take on how to transition if the blend isn't going well? You already said about sitting down and not wasting people's time telling the truth. Counseling, okay.
And taking time without the other parent, like, to get to know the other child.
Yeah.
I agree with that 1,000%.
I guess the right word, or maybe it's not the right word, to date the child, like, take the child out, spend time with them, get to know them personally, without having the other parent there, so you can actually build a relationship with them. So sometimes you have to, and put the parents need to put their pride aside, like, because sometimes they're like, oh, she got a smart mouth, or he don't, he's this way, and I'm not. You kind of start acting like the child too. So sometimes you gotta put your pride aside and just step up and be the bigger person.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Caronica, I would agree with you, and that is what my mom did again, because Daddy was working, but she was there the whole summer, so it was just her, my siblings, and my mom. So Daddy was there. Once we came back, we would go somewhere. She set up something every Saturday. We were going shopping. We were doing something. It was all about, well, what do you like to do? So we had to suck it up.
And your mom is old school.
Yes.
Yeah. These new school people like, oh, she
can't be here.
Oh, she got to get out. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but they're not for that. And I get that no one, especially like no child's disrespecting me and everything, but you have to put yourself in that child's shoes. Like, if this child was the only child most of their life, and then you showed up. Yeah. And now they have to share with somebody else and share their parents' time with somebody else. You have to kind of put yourself in the shoes. Like, how does this child feel? But that's why you got to be like, okay, go out with this child, take him out and say, how do you feel about this situation?
And emotional intelligence is really important, because if you immediately react to a child rolling their eyes at you or being mean, it's like, if your immediate reaction is to no, it's like, no, why is this little baby being so mean? What is the problem? Right. You have to think about the foundation and the layers, of stuff. Now, some kids really are just bad. Yeah. But if it's like a normally cool person and they're being kind of, you're like, there's something deeper. Dig a little deeper.
Shae, what do you want to say?
I just feel like
you can feel it.
Parents, I just feel like the parents have the bigger job to understand and to make it work, because kids are kids.
Yep.
And I feel like if a parent can't communicate with his wife or family members or whatever, then you can't communicate with a kid.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be, I don't want to say it, but 100% of yourself.
Yes, Shae,
understand who you are and understand how to communicate in order to be able to communicate with a child about something that complex.
That's true.
Or you get those parents who are too scared to upset their children, so they kind of let them just do whatever they want to do. Right. It's like, well, I don't want her to feel neglected because I got this new person.
Be in the grocery store over there hollering and screaming for no reason.
Putting everything in the cart. And I just don't want her to feel sad or him to be upset.
See, first of all, I think, again, it starts with dating. You have to self-check and say, can you truly handle dating somebody with kids?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you cannot fall in love with somebody who has kids without falling in love with their children.
And if you do,
because they are they're an extension of who you're falling in love with.
So you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Yes, I can disagree.
Yeah, you can't. But how does that work
though?
Yeah.
I introduced my son to my husband a year in. I was already in love, like, period. And he was already in love. I do think that you have to understand that there are people that you're going to have to open your heart up to, but there's no way for me to wait to fall in love with the guy until I meet the kid.
No. I didn't say that's not what I said.
Maybe I misunderstood.
Right.
Okay.
What I said
Help me
was, you can't say that you are in love with someone who has children without having love for their child.
To open up yourself to love,
because that person is an extension of who you're falling in love with. So whether you met them 30 days in, 6 months in, a year, when that person or child is introduced, to me, if you already love this person or in love with it, then your heart is got to be open for the child.
I think that
it has to be.
I think that sounds right. Sounds nice, but I think that's why you have to date and continue to date, because people date so long and they're in love with each other. Yeah. And I was in Maryland. I was going to work, and the strawberry letter. This lady who called in because of the fact that her and her husband was. Her and her boyfriend, fiance, she was talking about how much she loves him, but she secretly couldn't stand his child. It was a 3-year-old little boy.
I remember that.
And she was like, I can't stand this little boy. So
how's she in love with? Yeah.
You can be in love with the person.
Yeah.
But if you are, that's why I said that sometimes you have to be real with yourself. I love this person, but for some reason, I'm not ready to be a mother. I'm not willing to go through the stuff that I would have to go through with this child. So I need to walk away from this relationship.
Right. Yeah.
So you can be in love with that person, but you got to know that this person comes along
right for that relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because to me, you just can't. That's just in my mind. You cannot not love the person you're in love with children. You just cannot. That's an extension of who they are. So how is it that you can love this person, male or female, and not open your heart to their child?
See, this is the problem, and this is the reason why I think it's a problem. I think that you shouldn't wait so long, and I'm not saying you should be meeting the person in a couple months or so, but I don't think you should wait so long, because once you wait for a long period of time just dating this person, and now you don't even know. What if you can love so many things about this person when it's just you and that person. But when that person, you see how they act with their kids,
come on now,
their family members.
Yes.
I don't believe in waiting that long.
How long, Shae?
I mean,
tomorrow.
Day 3, bring everybody.
It really depends on the person, and it depends on how much we have the connection. And so, like, if I'm getting to know you, and it's getting to this point to where we like, yo, we can't be doing that, and I don't know how you act around your people, and I don't know how you act or how you parent your child.
Yeah. Because
I have a serious issue with certain types of parenting, so I know that I can't be with you. So why would I waste the whole 2 years of my life dating you, and then don't even know if I actually? Because once I see that you have. Like you're
no backbone.
You be like smacking the stew out of this kid,
or you're
very some people cuss at the kids, like certain things. I'm like, oh, okay, what you like? Because what now I'm feeling like, because I see how you act in a regular situation, because this is your kids and your family's your regular situation,
right?
Right now, all I'm seeing is butterflies and roses, but I see how you act with your people.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's really good.
So I'm thinking like, no, I'm not waiting that long.
See, and that's why you got to look at different angles, because I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
I would have never looked.
I want to see it very soon.
So what's your time? Because I know Caronica was joking about dating.
Now it's one thing if we're just like, like we're not really. It's not like the huge connection, but we dating or talking and going out. But it's another thing if we like really, really like almost, we kind of like see ourselves with each other type of situation.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, so I need to know how you act with your mom. Do you be cussing your mom out?
Okay, so
Like,
is that a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day?
Look, I feel like 5-6 months. I need to see. I'm not waiting for a year for you to find out if you want me to meet your friends.
I got you.
You got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like, I'm just not. I'm too old. Like when you were younger, you probably it probably won't even like cross your mind in situations.
Right.
Once you get older, I'm not doing years.
No, I get
But
it.
you ain't doing
Nothing.
years.
I just wouldn't want to fall in love with the children 6 months in, and then the relationship doesn't work, and then you're like, dang.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
So that's why when I feel like you don't have to always bring your kids together as if like this is.
You can just do a hangout or bowl.
Yeah.
Bowling together.
That's what I'm saying. It's a casual situation.
That's
just to see how they will.
The chemistry,
interact, all that stuff.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
But you got to figure out how to do it without
make it fun.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't know, like we're just friends and y'all get together.
Yeah.
Kids react a little different than
exactly.
So are you trying to come over here?
Yes.
If you get them together casual, just the few days.
No expectation. Everybody coming together. Oh, bring them to the barbecue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
That's
to
cool.
see
That's
what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I think that you do need to know because you're right. Because I do believe
totally
that you can fall in love with that person.
That one-on-one.
But you give them
will get you all the
group.
time.
Yeah.
That's the truth right there.
That one-on-one. Be like, oh, he's so loving to me.
Okay.
But then wait a minute.
But I'm not knocking that. What I'm saying is it's hard for me to comprehend you being in love with that person, but you can't open your heart to something he helped bring into this world.
I don't think
but that's
anybody
only
walks
because they waited so long. Because you had to get to different levels to get to that in love.
I don't think it's waiting for that. I think it goes back to you have to check yourself. Are you capable of doing that? A, and B, do you want to be somebody's stepmother?
Well, I have met kids, and to me, it's the older. To me, younger kids can be, you can build a better.
They're still
connection.
moldable. They're still being moldable.
But with older kids, I've met some kids that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have met your child like 6 months ago because I would have been out. Like, I'm not willing to do anything other than leave. Mm-hmm. Like, so I understand it because some kids got mouths that will make you want to be like, oh, I don't know if I'm built for this. Like, I'm just not.
Some of this stuff isn't lovable.
Yes.
Like, I mean, just being honest, and that's just being straight up.
But that's when some of this stuff isn't lovable. Are we not supposed to love one another as human beings?
Girl.
I'm just saying.
Girl.
I'm just asking a question.
We're supposed to do a whole lot of stuff.
Correct. But I'm just asking because again, we're talking about a child.
But
we're talking.
No, you're talking about your spouse's or your partner's child. They're not always a child. They're not always this big.
Right. But
so when they're
still
this big,
child. So they this big. Let me give you an example. I've known situations where a child will get up in your face. So that is not lovable.
Yep,
but if you can do all that, then everybody's not built. I'm not built for that type of life.
Okay, I will say,
I would go running.
Okay,
but
there have been some fights.
Well, we would have just had.
But no,
a tussle.
Aren't we supposed to love one another?
We would have had to have a tussle.
I think that it comes down to the maturity of the parents.
Yeah.
Because when you have a child that's been with you. Because I'm sensitive by my child. I had no idea I was this sensitive. I had no idea I was this sensitive. Like, for real, I had no idea I was this sensitive. And my husband is a really stand-up guy. But in the beginning, when we all moved in together, there would be a couple things like, oh, well, James didn't do the dishes. And I'm like, wait, why are you getting upset? Clorissa, that's a fact. Okay. All right. He didn't do the dishes. When I hear my child's name, I'm immediately just like on alert. Like, and it is funny because when I say something about my bonus daughter, my husband do the same thing, and it's like, and we just die laughing at each other because it's like, oh, I'm still working.
So y'all see each other in the mirror.
Still working through this because sometimes it's just that you have a built-in like
bias.
Defense mechanism and bias, and it's so beautiful when you have a partner who's willing to say, "Wow, I was just being crazy, wasn't I? Wow, I shouldn't have got upset about the dish comment, huh?
You know, you can see that.
Yeah, and sometimes the kids don't even you mad, and your kid is completely like, yeah, I didn't do the dishes. I'm in trouble.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, takeaways.
Yeah.
Be mature.
Absolutely.
Open your heart to love the child. The
Yes.
children.
And if you can't,
try.
If you
Just
have to
try.
be honest with yourself, if you cannot handle it,
Yes.
then you
Walk
need
away.
to walk away.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And that let you know, because that agape love, you realize once you start seeing other things, your love wasn't what you thought it was.
Woo! And make sure y'all subscribe.
Okay.
Right.
Comment. Let us know what you thought about this topic. Should we continue it? How are y'all handling things? Because what she just said.
Open up a whole nother can.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Amen.
So, thank you for
Hallelujah.
watching Conversations and Opinions. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.